while ostensibly we're talking about property technology, I think what this is really about is leveraging technology for truly inclusive prosperity. So let me just quickly introduce UBX. UBX is the FinTech Venture Studio and Venture Fund spinoff of Union Bank of the Philippines. And our hypothesis is that the future will be one of invisible financial services. Financial services will be embedded seamlessly and invisibly into the activities and experiences that matter to individuals and businesses. And so as a result, we are building platforms, digital platforms, for digitally and financially underserved communities and ecosystems, and at the same time aggregating and virtualizing financial services so that they can be embedded into those experiences that truly matter. And one experience that truly matters to people is real estate, either a place to work, a place to live, a place to be entertained and to carry on one's life. And so the real estate ecosystem is an ecosystem of great interest to UBX. And we feel that it's both digitally and financially underserved. So what I thought I'd share with you today is just one of our ventures where we are trying to leverage technology in the real estate ecosystem. Amor alluded to a first ever in the Philippines, a tokenization of some luxury properties that unfortunately got put on hold by the pandemic. That was a project that we were supporting, and I thought I'd share a little bit of the underlying technology behind that project, and also the why. And so this is really about real estate asset tokenization as a means of democratizing real estate. The opportunity is huge. Real estate is the second largest asset class in the world, and it's equally huge in the Philippines. At the same time, the Philippines has seen staggering growth rates in real estate. However, we have three very, very big problems in the Philippines when it comes to real estate. Number one, the market is highly illiquid. It's a highly illiquid marketplace. There has been some movement in the REIT space, but it still represents a very small fraction of the capital markets. And so the real estate as an asset class remains highly illiquid. It's also costly. On top of the price of the property itself, there are associated costs on top of it. And so when you take taxes and commissions and fees, you're looking at an average of a 15% premium on top of the asset itself. And then lastly, and probably the biggest thing is real estate is very asymmetric. It is affordable as a investment vehicle for only a tiny fraction of the population. And a large part of that is because it's very binary in nature. It's you buy the whole thing or you don't. And while REITs are one traditional vehicle to address that problem, we wanted to come at it with the power of the blockchain. So while the Proptech market, there's a lot of startups, there's a lot of activity, but blockchain and tokenization is still very much in its infancy. I struggled with whether I would show you an actual demo of the system today, and I think that might have been a little bit more exciting from a visualization perspective, but I just wanted to use a schematic so that I could walk you through it and then explain how we're leveraging asset tokenization, real estate tokenization in particular, to embed financial services. And so our BidIt solution currently is geared towards the tokenization of real estate assets. And it kind of goes in three steps. Number one, we have a marketplace. So this is effectively a web app, a mobile app. This is where you sign up to invest. There is a wallet there is KYC, and this is where you will make payments, cash in and cash out. The second part, and this is really the core of it, is the tokenization. And this is the primary market. So what we're doing in the Bidit platform is we are identifying and vetting real estate properties that the platform can stand behind. We then break down the property or the asset into a large amount of equal pieces. These are the tokens. They are put onto the blockchain with an associated smart contract that will handle the yields, the income, the disposition of the property, etc. And then the third piece is a secondary market. So while you're holding these blockchain-based tokens, it allows for them to be traded on a secondary market. At UBX, we have invested in the Philippine Digital Asset Exchange for exactly this purpose, so that the tokenization that occurs within the Bidit platform also affords or creates liquidity through a healthy secondary market. In terms of embedding financial services through our Assured platform, we add the opportunity to apply insurance to either the underlying properties that are being tokenized and or to the investments being made. We allow for people to lend, so to apply leverage in affecting and making investments in fractionalized real estate. And then lastly, we use our Bucks platform to make it easy to get funds in and out of the wallet in the marketplace that will be used to buy these investments. Our experience to date has brought to light what I would say very interesting problems that we need to solve. Again, Amor mentioned that the pandemic put our initial project on hold. But I would like to remind everybody that tokenization is in its infancy. And while the technology problem, in my opinion, is solvable, and we've done that with the Bidit platform, the idea behind tokenized real estate is actually a hypothesis. There has been experience in other jurisdictions, such as the United Kingdom. And recently I've been tracking a project in where I come from, Canada. And the jury is still out, to be quite honest with you, as to whether this will actually sell. And so we're eager to test this out in the Philippines, and hopefully we'll get back very shortly to the project that Amor mentioned at the very beginning. The second interesting problem is that you actually have to tokenize something. And basically in many markets, including the Philippines, this means that you have to tokenize an intermediate vehicle. There has to be something between the title, such as a contract, a long-term leasehold, or perhaps a single purpose or single property REIT that can actually be tokenized. This leads to the obvious question of the possibility of tokenizing and making property titles themselves smart contracts on the blockchain. And maybe that's a great segue to the third part. Opening this market up requires regulatory support or change. So whether it's through crowdfunding, whether it's through the establishment of tokenized asset exchanges and regulatory support for them, or even something as deep as changing the actual underlying titles themselves to actually reside on the blockchain as smart contracts. That's the depth of the regulatory support that we require, or that needs to be changed to open up this market. But if we can solve these problems, we will democratize real estate, and we will allow many, many more Filipinos to participate in this huge and quickly growing asset class in the Philippines. And we believe that together we will be a positive and material. We will be a positive force and make a material impact on truly inclusive prosperity through property tech, and through real estate. Thank you.